Hello and a warm welcome to everybody to this edition of the German-Italian Dialogues. Today we will talk to Marina Ponti, Director to the UN SDG Action Campaign based in Bonn. Since her studies in political science and government, she is working with civil society and the United Nations on advocacy and campaigning for development issues. About 10 years she was with the UNDP, of which 5 years Regional Director for Europe of the UN Millennium Campaign, which she decisively shaped. In 2013, she moved to New York, held different positions with UNICEF and the UN Secretariat, before, in 2018, she was designated Director to the SDG Action Campaign. This program is a special initiative by the UN Secretariat to scale up, broaden and sustain the global movement to take action for the SDGs, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which were adopted precisely 5 years ago in September 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly as a roadmap to change the world into a better and more justice place by 2030. We are talking about the Agenda 2030. The head office of the UN SDG Action Campaign are based in Bonn. And so Marina, after all, is back to Europe and living in Germany. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to talk to her today and say a warm welcome to Marina. Hello, Marina.
Hi, nice to see you today.
I'm very glad that you could take your time because this September is very busy. We have 5 years of the SDG action campaigning. And yes, but let me first ask you a question about your position in Bonn, because you're director of the UN SDG Action Campaign, which has the head offices in Bonn. And as we are talking in this German-Italian dialogue, I'm curious about your experience as an international figure for so many years living in New York and abroad. You're back to Europe, you're in Germany. How is your experience in Germany, living with Germans, working with Germans maybe more closely, even though you are working in an international organization? How is your point of view of this German-Italian relationship in this very moment?
Okay, so thank you for the question. First of all, let me say that I've been extremely lucky to have moved to Bonn. I was in New York for many years before, and the adjustment to Bonn was extremely easy. I have 2 children. They were so happy to move to a more smaller, a greener, a safer environment. They are learning to be more independent, and their transition was extremely easy. And for a working parent, as many of those who are watching us, when the children and the family are happy, that's a big plus.
Yes.
And professionally, I must say the UN campus in Bonn is a beautiful location. There is a lot of space, there is a lot of peace and quiet, and the German counterpart have made it extremely easy for me and my team to adjust, they've been very helpful in helping us finding solution, and really they've been supporting us all along. So I feel very lucky to be here. And let me add that we are in the middle of a pandemic. And as I say to everyone I talk to, I felt extremely lucky to have experienced these challenging times in Germany, where the pandemic has been handled quite well, and where the communication about what to do, what not to do has been extremely effective and clear, and where we never experienced any drama, any emergency, as in Italy. My home country, and I'm from Milan, where was one of the epicentric of the pandemic. So I could really see how lucky have been, to be here. So I'm grateful. I do see, I'm a strong believer in the European, Union, in the European values that are at the basis of Europe. And I really value how diverse Europe is. Italians are different from Germans, from Danish, and from Swedish, and from French, and Portuguese. But what brings us together are the values of democracy, of cooperation, of solidarity, of human rights, and this should be a guiding principle for us to learn how to build from our diversity and how to maintain this beautiful project, which now is under the leadership of Germany because of the presidency of the EU.
Yeah, thank you very much, and even thank you very much because me with my office of the German-Italian Dialogue, I'm based in Bonn too, and we as people from Bonn, we appreciate a lot that we have the opportunity to host so many important UN programs and offices, and yes, that is a very good plus for our Bonn base here. Thank you very much. Talking about right now, coming to your precise program, the UN SDG Action Campaign, which was founded as project out of the UN Millennium Campaign, which you, before your directorship of the campaign right now, decisively shaped, working together with the UNDP. Maybe you can even describe us a little bit this transition from one program to the other. And then, of course, right now, what were your intentions or your goals to achieve by now, and what has the UN SDG Action Camp, which is an international program involving all the countries, many people all over the world. How many people did you get involved? So it's really an amazing program. I can just invite our public to study and to see on your web pages how many initiatives you are running. Please tell us a little bit more about your wonderful program.
So just to go back a little bit to the history, before the SDG Action Campaign, there was a UN Millennium Campaign, which was a campaign launched by Kofi Annan. At the time, he was the Secretary General, and the goal of the Millennium Campaign was to create a movement in support of the Millennium Development Goals, which were the goals that preceded the Sustainable Development Goals. The main difference between the Millennium Development Goals and the SDG and the Sustainable Development Goals is that the Millennium Development Goals were not universal. So there were two different agendas. There was an agenda for developing country, and developing country were tasked to improve and increase investment in education, in health, in gender equality, in water, sanitation, environmental protection, jobs creation, and etc. While to developed country, the task were to increase and improve the quality of the development assistance, and then to allow more inclusive trade rules that will really allow developing country to increase their resources and their share of the global trade. So the new changing landscape with the Sustainable Development Goals, and the most important element is that it's a universal agenda. We are looking at 17 goals that touch upon the key elements in everyone's life. We're talking about decent jobs, gender empowerment, quality education, quality health, more important today than ever, action on climate, action on biodiversity, consumption which is sustainable, production which is sustainable, transparent institutions. So the goals really cover everything that every individual needs to be able to enjoy life, to be safe, to be not afraid, and to fulfill its potential. So this agenda is for every government. Of course, in every government will have a national plan based on the baseline. A country like Germany has different goals and target that an African country, maybe a least developed country. So every government and also local government should tailor this agenda to make it specific to the national reality and to the national vision and ambition. So we're talking about a universal agenda, as I said, and we are also talking about the transformative agenda. So to achieve this agenda is not just a matter of funding, it's not that just, give a little bit more money here and there. It's about transforming our societies. And what I see, is transforming individual behavior, the way we consume, the way we produce, the way we participate in our community, the way we accept diversity, the way we interact with each other, the way we share opportunity, wealth among the different, minorities and groups in society. So, and now, because of course everything has changed with COVID-19 and the pandemic, the goals are more relevant than ever. I really believe, and I'm always optimistic, but I really believe we are at a turning point for people and planet. And we have, because the world has halted. I mean, we're still in froze. I mean, we don't know, if we can go to work, we can go to school, we definitely cannot travel. So, and our governments now are reimagining our society, are reimagining work, are reimagining production, are reimagining relations. So we see that there is an opportunity to really go forward and to redesign a society that is safer, that is more sustainable, and that is more just. And so now there is really scope to make transformative changes, because the discussion about the recovery is a discussion which is opening policy and financial space to redesign everything. So there is a recovery discussion in Germany, there is a recovery discussion at the European level, but in every single country, in every single organization, at the regional level, at the global level, there is a discussion on how we restart, how we move forward. So we really have an opportunity to influence the future. And all our activities have been geared towards inspiring this discussion and helping the leaders who want to make a difference to feel that they have more support. We are launching a mobilization at the end of September, from the 18th to the 26th of September, called around Turn It Around. I mean, we are calling on leaders to turn it around for the planet, for the people, for more social justice, for more climate justice. And at the same time, we are also convening during the General Assembly an SDG action zone, where we're giving the voice to artists, to local government, to activists, to the private sector, to show alternative ways in which our society can move towards. So we're very excited, and then we'll have other activities, but really the key is the message. We are a turning point for people and planet, and now transformative change is possible.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much for your explanation. And I have always the impression that this turning, which is so decisive right now in this context of the pandemic, even more, as you told us, it's a very young movement because many people who are participating. You had the hackathon, for example. Many young people who are joining your campaign and are active, maybe even because as the international communities right now bounded together by the digitalization, which is taking place all over the world and facilitating even to talk and to exchange and to shape together this transformation, which is necessary to our planet. One question regarding the people which are involved, and coming back even to our German-Italian perspective, I'm sure that with your international experience working together with international people, with Italians, with Germans, and we already touched that we have the EU presidency of Germany still until the end of the year. What are your expectations? What can the EU, or what has the EU and the German, Italian governments, what should they do to, with the perspective of right now 10 years more to achieve by 2030 the Agenda 2030? What are your expectations, your hopes for this upcoming time?
So I think that we all remember the 23rd of July as a very important day for a breakthrough for Europe when the recovery package was approved. Of course, it was a process. Not all member states in the EU felt this was the right direction, but I believe that Germany leadership was extremely helpful to secure consensus and to allow for a European recovery plan and a recovery fund that hopefully will help fuel and channel resources toward a European project which is based on sustainability and inclusivity. So not just renewable energy, but also policy which are inclusive, health system which is really accessible to everyone, and jobs and opportunity and gender equality. So I believe that Europe should use the opportunity of the recovery to restate the values and the principle which were very clear when Europe was formed many years ago about on human rights, on the inclusivity, on respect, and on giving everyone a dignity. And I think these values are today more relevant than ever, and they are all part of the Sustainable Development Goals agenda. So I think Europe, the big test for Europe will be to be able to recover, but leaving no one behind, and to use the extraordinary amount of resources and policy decisions that are happening now to really build and become a leader in sustainability, but also in social justice and inclusivity.
Yeah. And you as an Italian, what's your message or ideas for bringing much more forward even the Sustainable Development Goals in Italy? We had, for example, this wonderful interview starting our dialogues with Enrico Giovannini from ASBIS, and like the evaluation of how many goals have been achieved or not yet achieved. I think every country, like you told us too, has different targets to fulfill. What is your idea right now, education on the Italian situation?
Well, Italy, I think Italy is a country with incredible assets in terms of culture, in terms of beauty of the landscape, in terms of food, and there are so many assets, but there are also many weaknesses. And one very clear is that young people are not fully integrated in society, and there are not enough equal opportunities to access decent jobs, to access quality education, and to access quality training. So I think that Draghi, former European Central Bank leader, he put it very eloquently. We cannot go over this pandemic without really fully empowering young people. We cannot get indebted without putting in motion strategy that will create wealth, will create jobs, will create income, for the next generation. So I think Italy needs to focus more on young people, and that's, to me, is something very, very important. You asked me before about our target. Of course, we are a team of 10 people with a global mandate, and we are 7 billion on this planet. So we, most of the people we talk to and that are doing our activities are young people, are young activists across the globe. But we also, we talk with governments, with local governments, we talk to people who are in power now. And what we saw very clearly in the pandemic is that we cannot play one generation against the other. So we cannot play the blame game of young people telling the adults, oh, you ruined the planet and now we need to, fix your problem. We saw that the pandemic exposed more older people than younger people. So somehow we need an intergenerational contract between everyone. So this agenda, we have one planet, we have, a shared vision, and we need to work together. But on this, I'm very optimistic again. We've seen with the pandemic the extraordinary solidarity, spontaneous solidarities that came from the people, helping the elderly, through voluntary mechanism of, buying the shopping or helping them because they were targeted and they've been isolated for many months. So there is a spontaneous movement of solidarity, which shows that, many people feel that we are part of a same vision, of a same, globe, and everybody wants to contribute for a better future. So we had, as a campaign, we organized on the 18th of May, a global day for solidarity. Millions of people joined because people want to be hopeful. People want to believe that a better, future is possible. And our hashtag was "We're Stronger Together." And I think this is a message which should convey, and particularly in the face of those who wants to divide us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marina. This is a very nice closing message, because we are in a turning point. We have to act together, and we are stronger together. I think this wonderful message, and even this intergenerational aspect that you touched. It is really that we have one world that we have to build and to live in. I thank you very much, Marina. I wish you many luck for the upcoming weeks, which will be pretty busy with the upcoming events. And yes, I can just invite our public to follow the SDG Action Campaign activities. And yeah, all the good and luck to you. And thank you once again a lot for this talk, Marina.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.